Serendipity is what makes our life as happy as it can be, and thus we should all be trying to open ourselves up to as much randomness as we can. But as the world is developing, serendipity is becoming more and more scarce. There's a seriously cool dude named Alex Honnold. He's a rock climber that likes to do what is referred to as free climbing. There are some rock climbers who do indoor rock climbing, which is when you, not surprisingly, go indoors and climb up a path of rocks that have been laid out in a particular way so that climbers face a certain challenge. There are people who boulder, that is, they climb on a giant rock or rock faces not too high up, so they don't need as much safety equipment. And finally, there are people who climb outside, up huge mountains, the way we tend to classically think about mountain climbing, except some of these people do it with no equipment. No ropes, no harness, no picks, just the person and the bag of chalk for their hands. This is what is called free climbing, and Alex Honnold is widely considered to be the best free climber the world has ever known. The question becomes, what made Alex Honnold become the greatest free climber in the world? He naturally had an affinity for the sport, but he also started climbing at a climbing gym at the age of 5, and then continued climbing throughout his life until he eventually became who he is now, the greatest free climber in the world. But what if he had never been introduced to rock climbing, and especially at such a young age? It's clear with people who are at the top of their field that these moments of serendipity shaped who they became. Something happened at some point to Einstein that made him want to obsess over physics and thus help change the whole way we understand the study of the way the universe works. Something also happened to Adolf Hitler that made him who he was, which led to the deaths of tens of millions of people. But something also happened to you that made you love whatever you love doing, or on the flip side, not love whatever it is that may have been the thing you could have loved more than anything else. You have missed out on something because serendipity never threw it into your path. Maybe you would have been the best free climber in the world had someone brought you to a climbing gym when you were 5. Heck, maybe you've never given rock climbing in general a chance and it's something you'd really enjoy. Or maybe you've never even heard of rock climbing, and because you were so unlucky to have never heard of it, you'll never have even had the opportunity to give it a shot. We're all fortunate benefactors of certain serendipitous events that gave us an opportunity to know about something that was truly good for us, or unlucky victims of missing out on certain serendipitous events that could have shown us something that would have made our existence on this planet hundreds of times more enjoyable. And there's a way to get the most out of serendipity. Roll the dice as many times as you can. There's an idea that comes up in certain cheesy rom-coms and dramas where there's a man and a woman getting closer and closer, and though they aren't a couple yet, though the storyline is clearly pushing them that way, and as these two are getting closer and closer, they start talking about love. Inevitably, one of them asks the other, "Do you believe there's one perfect person out there for everyone?" The answer is obviously no. There is one or several people out in the world who would make you happiest. There are also several other people who, if you married them, would make you not quite as happy as those perfect few that are perfectly matched with you. And then there is a whole spectrum of people with whom you'd be very, very, very happy, just not as happy as the aforementioned perfect and almost perfect people. So if you want to optimize for finding the absolute best person you can spend the rest of your life with, you need to meet a lot of people. This is why we tend to date a lot of people. The more people you date, the more likely it is that you'll find someone you really love. Let's say there are 1 million people within your age range and your preferred gender, and about 10,000 that would make the rest of your life truly happy. This would mean that of all the random people you meet in that proper gender and age range, 1% will make you happy for the rest of your life. So what would be your strategy for finding the best mate you could? Date as much as you can to try to make the probability that you will find the one, or more likely one of the 10,000, that will make you have a happy life. Seems pretty obvious, right? Now think about all the other aspects of your life besides love. Think about which hobbies best suit you. Think about which books would be most interesting to you. Think about ideas and concepts you wish you could know more about. Think about literally any life experience you could undergo that would send you on that trajectory towards the greatest happiness you can attain during this very short stint we have amongst the living. Optimizing these things, just as in love, requires that we experience a wide range of many different experiences and ideas so that we can stumble upon the ones that are best for us. Serendipity plays a huge part in this, but truly random serendipitous events are becoming harder to come by. We all now live in a digital world. And while it's big and thus there are many opportunities for us to bump into random ideas and thoughts we've never seen before, the world is also becoming tailored to what we already know and are comfortable with. Let's say you're Alex Honnold, but Alex Honnold in a different universe. In this universe, although Alex is very naturally disposed to love rock climbing, no one ever brought him to a rock climbing gym. And in fact, he's never even seriously heard of the sport before. Let's say in this universe, for whatever reason, Alex has become a painter. And while Alex really digs painting, it would be great if somehow the universe threw rock climbing his way. Now, because of the YouTube and Twitter and Facebook, there are clubs of people who rock climb. There are videos that show exactly what the sport is like. There are posts that intimately describe what rock climbing is like. And if he would just stumble upon one of those, his life would be forever changed for the better. But he never sees those videos and posts. He's a painter. His friends on Facebook are painters who talk about painting. The people he follows on Twitter are famous painters who link to painting supplies and talk about various techniques to paint better. He's done many Google and YouTube searches for painting, and thus all the videos that get suggested to him are about painting, or at the very least about drawing and other arts and crafts. Although there is a massive world online of rock climbers, Alex will never see them because the online world is becoming more tailored to the things we already know about. And this is how serendipity is dying. We know we need to experience a wide array of different random things to be able to discover the hobbies and interests that can make us most happy. Just like the person looking for the best partner to make their life as happy as possible has to date many people, we also have to look out for new areas of interest that we can try and hopefully enjoy until we find one that can really make us happy. And even once we've found that thing, we have to keep ourselves open to the idea that we need randomness, this kind of serendipity, so that we can increase our probability of finding even better things that can make us even happier. And we have to be careful about living in our own digital bubble. We have to be careful not to stay within the same Facebook groups and only watch the videos that YouTube recommends to us. We have to be careful not to let whatever custom tailored feed, whether it's on Twitter or Facebook or on some segregated news site, push us towards things we are already interested in. It's hard to know exactly what the solution is to being pushed into the direction of things we are already familiar with. But if we at least know that the digital world is big and we don't have to stick to only the bubble of information and sources that are being made for us, we are one step closer to achieving the happiest life we can make in the very short amount of time we're on this planet.